Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. A couple more things to finish getting settled up as usual. Housekeeping. Let's check out the sponsor. Join the Discord. Um, Watch all the other videos about analysis and commentary and live results and all the good things. Good, excellent connection. It's actually using my GPU. Last time I tried this, it wasn't. We go to browser. We added the correct URL. We get chat. Okay, we got chat. It's 247 by 1481. So we go to filters, audio filters, effect filters. I don't know if that did anything, but every little bit is progress. So we'll see. The guard service is down, so we cannot actually look at the results, which is kind of what I thought we would do here. But I also thought the fencing would be done by now. Maybe it
On a
is,
vu,
maybe
hein,
it
Imrek
isn't.
qui a fait un geste avec la main comme ça.
So we'll go watch some random bouts. I can't find them because on guard service is down. So you're just gonna have to shout out links and people you want to see, and we'll scrub around until we find them. As I said, thought they said Emmerich, but team. It would be after these bouts. That looks like a fun one to watch. Yeah, Emmerich beat it. So Gaetan Bia did like phenomenal a couple of years ago before the Olympics, and then kind of fell off last year and is now apparently back at it. Sam Emmerich, of course, known for his really funky, strange style. Very happy, not a lot of classic fencing, but really good precision blade work and distance control to be able to smack the hand and then move on from there. All right, as I finish playing around with the stream outlay, be a first. Be a 4-2. Not about that anywhere in any danger of going to non-combativity, despite what the usual trend is nowadays. Mark hiding behind his bell. Be a fencing much more classically, trying to draw out that counter and then parry. Um, I almost want to say for that one, Bia was keying in on Imrek's arm extension. Imrek just didn't extend, and so Bia was slow with it. Good undershot hit there. Another really quick, explosive flush from Imrek. Not going very far with it, and he's got no follow through, but for that little bit of distance he's got to cover, he's going real quick. Another one there. Really, really good from Imrek, where he's cluing in on Bia's step backwards. Bia's scared to attack, I guess because he's going to get counterattack, or it's just not part of his plan. But now he's getting too close, and Imrek is punishing a step back when he's not expecting it. Bia used to be Gate Grumier's protege. I wonder if he still is. Bia's and Grumier is in the stands watching it, and he'll probably pick that up himself. One thing I like watching Imrek is that he's in focus the moment the ref says fence. A lot of fences will sort of hop in and close distance and then start fencing. Imrek is in his on guard, watching for opportunities miles out of distance. He's got his game plan and he's so set into it. Great focus and attention, and that's really, really important. Bia is going to go to the. Hmm. Space out and I missed Bia's single. He's holding longer distance and there he goes in and he gets it. It's hard to see, but that looked a lot more like Bia was trying for a single tempo hit, not trying for some kind of a prep action. And so he committed to it first, and then he got the touch. And I got a lot more slow probing. I'm gonna get another double. Bia giving up entirely on going in close. And just straight pushing, just straight pulling. So that's his adjustment, is he's not getting in as close. And now it's Imrik's turn to adjust. Because if he doesn't, it'll be 5,000 doubles and then Bia will just win and he'll take that win every time. Very far distance now. Interesting to contrast this with the video we just watched about Janet, who was also starting at that distance. But he would get in that close, and that was a commitment for him. And Bia is still getting in that close and waiting to see what happens. So it's been a pretty simple game plan from Emmerich up to now. And I'm surprised he hasn't adjusted already. But it's just been, 7 or 8 flushes into the retreats in a row. And 2 singles for Bia to bring him up to 1 touch ahead. And then now it's 12-11 and Emmerich's starting to feel the pressure. He's also not taking his time with it. Bia is not pushing, Bia is just pulling. And so if Emmerich takes a step back and wants a breather, so far Bia will give it to him. But these flushes are coming really quick. Here it is. He's, slowed down a lot. See what he can come up with as Bia starts being a little bit more pushy. He doesn't have to be, and he shouldn't be, but it's very difficult to not want to close a bout out. And of course, if you stay passive, you're letting your opponent set up. So it's not like it's out of reach entirely. There we go. 30 seconds left, non-combativity. Probably going to go to end of the second here. A very well finished second bout from Bia. A little bit less so from Emmerich. He's going to go home wishing he had spent a little bit more time on those flushes. All right. So this is good. Emmerich took my advice that he can definitely hear and slowed down. Got a chance to talk to his coach. And here we see him going for more defensive actions. Doesn't quite work, but it's something different, and trying something different is very important. I see Bia going back a little bit closer than he was with the when he had that doubles run. And we're taking a lot more patience though. Oh, a little bit too eager. A little bit too eager, maybe a little bit too late. If you're getting in as close as Imrik's Bellegarde, you're going very deep because of how hunched over he is. Yeah. Good sequence there, actually. Let's watch it one more time. Bia goes in deep, and then drops, and then in, and then drops, and then in, but less that third time. And that's what Imrik flushes into. And so a really well set up touch by Bia. All right. And there it is. Excellent wrist touch from Bia. Rare to see someone get one of those on Imrik instead of the other way around. And we're into the top 8 in this one. This will be fun. All right, on the left we have Alexa Bayard from Sweden. Switzerland. On the right we have Dylan French from Canada, who despite the name is apparently not French-Canadian. Early one for Bayard. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do... Watching fencing without sound freaks me out. I'm still really not getting any, but it's the best I'm going to do. Okay. Smooth movement from French here. He pushes in and then draws Dylan out. Draws Alexia out. Blade fix. Blade fix. Okay, here we go. Excellent wrist. Nice little wrist pick there from Dylan. Equalizes. They're getting a little bit too big with his movement. Very non-committal so far, in and out and in and out. But nobody ever really like strong attacks and full length lunges. Ooh. Bayard with a very classic on guard, takes 6, bit big, tries to counter. French has time to turn it into a 4. Ah, I hear sound. Ooh, weird one. Pair post from French with a flick, and Bayard manages to get a double out of it, which is as rare as, just pretty rare as far as it goes. So you got one up for French. Great technical footwork, keeping his feet same length apart as he moves up and down the strip. Starting to feel the pressure of the end line because he's not breaking distance as much as he is when he presses. Bayard equally happy to press. Very similar fencing between the two of these. Kind of playing a little game of chicken here as they push. And another double. Just because they're both fencing the same way. And another first. Guard service is down, and I don't really trust them to have technical chops to get it back up anytime soon, so French pulls, French pushes, Bayard pushes. The only real difference between them is that Bayard is pushing with a half step and Dylan is pushing with a hop or a full step. And there's a half step from Dylan, which is more of a small attack than anything, honestly. Long 1-2 from Bayard trying to hit the wrist. He's very classically French. And if you remember watching the Genet video, Genet would do 1-2-3 to the wrist, 2-3 for his attacks. Here, Bayard's cut it down to 1-2. Dylan finds an opportunity, does a bit of fancy blade work, dodges a couple of parries, 2-0 lead. 2-point lead. 6-4 lead. Go, Dylan's starting to push a little bit more. The way to really watch this is to imagine it as the French coach says on an accordion, but Delia Turner, one of the great U.S. vet women saberists, thinks of it as a balloon, and that's the image I like better. You have them here, and they push, and the balloon expands. They come together, and the balloon contracts, and they move as they move back and forth. This is how the distance changes, and she wants to not pop the balloon and not let it so far that it flies away. If you go too close, you've popped the balloon, your opponent hits you. If you go too far, you're wasting your time. You want to be ready for when your opponent pops a balloon too. You want to try to force them into, trick them into popping the balloon. Ooh, Alexa getting very close. Dylan not willing to commit to the counterattack. And then Bayard picks up on that and finishes the next one and brings it back within 1. Now we're getting more aggressive here. Longer, harder attack from French. Alexei playing an extreme game of chicken, getting that close without extending. He's got a world-class parry game, and so Dylan's not willing to commit to it. And great duck there from Bayard, goes just underneath the counterattack, even though it came in time. Easy, too easy. Bayard hoping for a sneaky one, kind of a skill check or an awareness check. Easy 8 riposte for French, and he's brought it back up too. But wow, okay. I'm gonna watch that one again because frankly I was busy with the last one. All right, didn't get too close. They are willing to YOLO into some kind of a half flush. A little bit lucky, a little bit safe, a little bit lucky because he caught Dylan on the hand with a flush, with a happy flush. A little bit safe because Dylan was in no point going to counter that. Going to try to counter that. It was very surprising. Oh, it's 6. As soon as... Hey, TPR, welcome to the stream. Forgot to have my in-stream... Oh, I did forget to update my in-stream bout title. This is... I'm going to just rewind time real quick and get this right. Okay, the finals have started, so we're going to pop over there. It's in time for me to update the stream title again. That's fine, that's fine. All right, it looks like we haven't missed anything. We had one non-commentated Davide Di Virola on the left, Gaetan B on the right. We just saw him beat Sam Imrek. Now we're going to watch Davide Di Viroli, a quick flash. Ooh, that is a much nicer quality, even with the bouncing overlay. Yep. Okay, too many camera changes. Too many camera changes. Be threatening the wrist again. Di Viroli holding him off. Holding ground, both of them, trying to psych out the opponent. Ooh, and Bia finds his way through. That was fun because they went highline. Like the classic is you go highline, low line, and he went highline, 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 low line. But if your opponent is taking lots of 6s, then good to go. Or you know your opponent's taking 6, because just drop your hit tip and go in low line. They're so close. They're so close. The Freddy Viroli has not done a whole lot. It's held distance close. We talked about if he shares doing is just hang out in close distance. Di Viroli's trying to do that. It's not working quite as well for him. He's not quite as he doesn't even quite have the technical ability to land the riposte that he needs. That's kind of a self-inflicted injury because he doesn't need to be as close as he is. Like we've seen Bia fence happily from farther distances. But right now, Di Viroli is getting in close and then ceding the distance too quickly. And then because he's got to move back, once he starts moving back, he can't stop easily because he's spending so much time in Bia's threatening range. So when he wants to counterattack, he's got a lot of rearward momentum and it throws him off and it lets Bia get the counterattack. And we go to the end of the first. So slow period so far. Very game of chickeny. Di Viroli needs to figure out a way to not retreat so much when Bia pushes. Excuse me. Okay, so that's not Grumier. So Bia has a new coach. That might be Marco Fischera. All these Italians look the same. certainly from the back, and certainly when you have face blindness. Yeah, Di Veroli needs to not give up ground so easily. He needs to find a way to make the stop, make the parry, threaten the counter, and not move out of engagement distance. Which he's setting to be very low.
D'attitude, pour le français, normalement, il faut rien changer.
Should be just enough desktop audio for you guys to hear, and not so much to override my voice. Okay, now Di Veroli seems a little bit more blade forward than he was in the first period. A little bit less going back. Better parry there. Okay, so that in theory wasn't great because it wasn't really set up very well. But on the other hand, he got a double out of it. There's a flunge. That's what that was. That was a flunge. I don't know why he's flunging in the finals of an epee tournament, but he is. There we go. He's giving up ground less easily. Anyway, so that was a double, which was good for him because it gives him shows he's on the right track. In this case, a double is a progression from just getting counterattacked. Yep, he's less likely to give up ground, and now he's starting to be a jump. Ooh, but like I said, it's just really hard to have the technical skill to be able to stop somebody and stay that close. So good counterattack there from Bia. Kind of caught Di Veroli napping a little bit. I thought it was a wrist shot, but he went all the way to the body. Okay. More consistent awareness from Di Veroli, you can see by his body language. He's not doing the fencing coach's two-tempo stuff. He's stopping and being aware. He's not falling asleep. He's just missing over the shoulder. I'm not sure how we didn't get it at least a double there, but good for Bia. There it is. I was honestly looking at Bia for that one. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I guess we'll see here. Nope. Yep. Too obvious. Not really set up. He pauses and then comes in, but he's coming in like searching, and then easy extension for Bia. Finally gets one there. He found the blade that time, which gave him a good disruptive beat, and that gave him the chance to get the touch that he hasn't had before. This bout feels like it's been all Bia, but it's definitely still anybody's game. 3 touches left for Di Veroli, and he's making the adjustments he needs. The parries just aren't quite there. That one was a very jammy sort of parry. He's like big and really into it, and if you remember the Fischer video, he had much smaller wrist-based parries. Doesn't get his whole arm involved. Barely gets his elbow involved. So Di Veroli needs more of that if he's going to keep fencing this close. I'm just every situation Di Veroli. Oh, no, never mind. Bia is just ripping him apart now. Di Veroli is not finding the distance he needs to get his actions on. Every time he tries to go, Bia surprises him with something, and then Diveroli is aborting his attack, and Bia is getting an easy single. Diveroli, I think, has to just stay a little bit further away and just commit to his attacks. Okay. End of the second. It was 4-7. Now it's 11-4. Not looking great for Davide Diveroli. And of course, as we all know, the Italians have -2 to their stats when they're fencing in France, so it's not too surprising. That was a good one, actually. Diveroli's just getting in close, missing a parry there. I feel like his blade got caught on Bia's when that just can't happen. Jump. He's in. That was a good one. We'll watch that one. He's, okay. He does. He takes the parry, which just happened. Doesn't retreat very far, which we saw in the first bit was really good. It was a fix in the first bit. Now he goes one to the wrist, and his arm is extended, and Bia counters, and Diveroli pulls his arm back, and he's just too close to do that. He's got to finish. One, yeah. He jumps back and he's leaning over. He's just got to finish straight, and that's his touch. But he's not feeling it, and he's feeling the threat too much. No, shouldn't have done that. There we go. A good long attack from Diveroli. Ignores the counter attack, finishes attack, gets a touch. There's still a lot of fencing to go. Diveroli is pushing hard. There we go. That was another really good parry. That's 2 and 7 seconds, which is insane. Holding the parry. Now he's got it. Unclear. Thinks he got the leg. I think he got the leg too, honestly. That's 3 really fast ones just off Diveroli doing just a more committed attack. I don't know who did the back for Diveroli, but it is. Ooh, maybe he did hit the ground. See, in a slow motion, if you look at Bia's left leg, because that's where the touch is going to be. Got 8. We got no. Could be the leg. Could be the strip. The strip would be unfortunate. Okay, no touch awarded. Much more high energy from Diveroli now. We still manages to find the time for a counter. There it is. Now we're starting to see stuff. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look at Divarola's body language, ooh, missed it with another plunge for some reason. Anyway, Divarola's body language has shifted entirely into attack mode. Even with his parries, he's doing super fast parry to post instead of trying to really block the blade out, trying to defend himself. Ooh, little bit too much. Little bit too much. Oh, they're also technically supposed to start in the middle of the strip, and there's the counter. Okay, so that was about Divaroli a little bit too passive and too timid in the first couple of periods. Came out smoking in the beginning of the third. Got too eager, and Bia found the time for the counterattacks again. All right. Head break. All the refs hanging out, talking about rough things, like how long the day is, and how much it hurts the skin in your feet all the time. All right. Oleg Nish, who I believe is another Russian refugee. And all right, well, we still don't have chat working. Sometime this week, I'm gonna have to do a test stream and figure out what the heck is going on with chat. In theory, it's in the left side, but all right. Nish goes low, Bardenay goes high. Bardenay wins. Nish again a little bit. He's very light on his feet. No, that's not what I want. I want. Quick 3-0 for Bardenay. I'm still settling in from getting a drink. All right. Anyway, two very classic upright fencers here. Bardenay even got his hand out like this. But he's here to show the whole French Federation that he should have gone to the Olympics. Nish, a very dynamic fencer, a little bit off his feet sometimes, but he's so active and light and moving. It makes it really hard to time anything into him. The guy in that counter attack a little bit earlier on the arm. Very active French gripping. Slowing down and stopping as a tactical maneuver. But Bard at this point happy to just double and double, 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 double. Like that's just an absolute win for Bard. A little bit of a bell punch. Nish is trying to do too much. That's what that is. He's not setting up. He's just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. A lot of back and forth. Now he's just totally slow. And Bard is willing to just sit there and take what he's given by Nish. Now we've seen two or three at least completely different fencing styles from Oleg Nish so far, which is just not enough not a good sign. Certainly, you can see by the 7-2 scoreline. Really want to see Nish find one thing and stick with it and vary it. You know, you're not gonna find a thing that Alexander Bardenay hasn't seen before. Just because this is fencing and he's been around for a long time. Missed the flick. He was going past. That's not his touch. Yeah, there it is again. Oleg is holding his arm back, trying to draw at the counter, but Bardenay is just better at manipulating the distance and better at finding the moment. As we see that very lovely Leon Paul Raglan sleeve jacket that I desperately want. Oh, look, just now he's not doing anything. He's just waiting for Bart to do something and trying to punish. I don't know what's going through his brain right now. He's a better fencer than this. And that's just going to make it worse because he thinks, oh, it worked. But it's just. That was a classic. Back up a little, step forward, and duck. Step forward to draw the attack, and then duck or parry or whatever. If he's gonna hit you touches like that, that was good. Barnett took the blade, went for flick. Nish got the parry and went for back flick, but you just really got to hit that. There's not two ways about it. You can't. This level, you don't get to have. Well, your action was good. You have to be able to finish. I think we talked about this in the um, Harry El Sayed video. Nish is jumping backwards, crossing his feet, going backwards, leaning backwards, and trying to hit a counter going forwards. And it's just making things so much harder for him than if he kept his feet under him in a good fencing on guard. Oh, I was sure that was going to be Bardenez. I'm not even sure what happened there. I guess we're not getting a replay. There we go again. It's just holding line and still somehow surprised by it. I have no idea what this game plan is supposed to be, but it really doesn't look good. He's waiting. Flesh. Nish is the whole arm is coming up. He's leaning back trying to get the board closer, and it's just not gonna work. Oh my god, we're at the end of the first. It's 14-6. We're at the end of the first. I didn't even realize. Nish gets one back, 7. Okay, whatever. All right. Bardine needs to not totally throw away the game trying to get that last touch. Nish needs to settle down and start fencing for real instead of like ceding the initiative completely. That's what he's doing, right? Like he's just standing there with his arm out, totally still, ceding all of the initiative and the timing and the distance and everything to Bardinet, and then hoping to get something, and it's consistently not working at all for him, and I have no idea why. Okay, there's one. Bardinet taking no time at all trying to end this bout. Ish has 7 more to go. And there it is. Um, Okay, that was not as close as it looked. Alexander Bardenet in the finals versus Gaetan Bia. And I don't know, that was just Nish is a good fencer. Like, you don't make the finals of a Monal and not be a good fencer. I don't know if he's just worn out, if he's out of shape because he's mostly coaching. That was just, it was weird. I don't know what he was doing standing still like that for half his touches. And like, it never worked and he never adjusted. He got hit like he was doing the really back and forth stuff at the beginning of the bout. Got hit twice, stopped it completely, never went back, kept getting hit, and then still never did anything with it. That was almost it anyway. He just got caught in the bell going down. Question is, how long are we going to wait here? Well, we got a French final in France. They always like that. We have Gaetan Bia, who is the that font is horrendous. Holy cow! What is it? A Z? This is a U. Why is there a line through the S? This thing is unreadable. Gaetan Bia is 24 after a scintillating year a couple of years ago. He was top 30. He jumped all the way back down to 212 this season. But that's obviously gonna, change. See, Bardenet is 34, so he's a full decade older than Bia. 30th exactly in the world, highest rank. 7th in 2021. th in 2020. So 7th in 2022. The 21-22 season, I guess. 3rd in juniors in 2010. Three World Cup golds. Heidenheim in 2019. Buenos Aires in 23. And Istanbul in 23. Going back to back, I think. I don't think we have either of those events anymore. What was Istanbul a couple of years ago? That was definitely a replacement for something. Probably a Russian replacement. Or they had them do it somewhere that Russian fencers were allowed to go. 2 Grand Prix silvers in Doha. He's got a nice smile. He's a cute guy. And we are on break, I guess. Let's see, did I save? I did. Right. So while that goes, let's go watch this bout some more. We are right back to Bayard. French. I almost said French. All right. French up 1, Bayard down 1. There is a 1-point difference. 1 touch separates these 2 fencers. How was my David King impression? Okay. Dylan working a much more extended arm. Alexei working a half step. A little bit more of an extended arm, not that much more. Quick little... Well, he was also a flunge. Why is everybody flunging now? Look at this. What? Ta-da. No, okay, so it's a flush. But it's not much of a flush. Not going forward very far. It just looks like a flunge. All right, we are tied up. Dylan going in, Bayard pushes, Dylan retreats. Somebody's gonna break that soon, and we got a double. I guess they're both gonna break that soon. No, that was Bayard's initiative, and he just was a little bit late or didn't quite get the timing on it, which gave French an opportunity to counterattack. All right, more of the same. French doing a lot of push-pull. Ooh, really good flick to the hand there. Bayard not respecting the push enough and leaving himself vulnerable. There's 2 minutes left. This clock always confuses me. And we see him a little bit more active with the hand, poking and prodding. Ooh, good touch there. What was that? That was 4. 4 into pull your hand back and get the really fast riposte. Well done. Still nothing. Okay. Big straight attack there into the prep. Dylan had the time to go backwards, but didn't go back far enough. Good change from... Ooh, yeah, that was the second, I think. Good change from Bayard to change his push distance. The pattern was there of French pushing and then retreating to any counter pressure from Bayard. So Bayard skipped the counter pressure and just did a straight counter attack. And French wasn't expecting it, was a little bit late with the parry. Now he's pulling a little bit more. Ooh, good flush there from Bayard. I don't know where that came from. Just had it right back up at 12 though. Wow, well done. There's been very little that I can see variation in Dylan's prep. And I think that's what Bayard's been picking up on for those last couple of touches. I have a Frenchman in my ears. Ooh, and another good one. I'll watch that one more time. I got distracted by the Frenchman in my ears. Dylan pushing, Dylan pulling. Alexei flashing into Dylan's anticipated step forward. Dylan, I think, was planning on it for real and then was able to cancel it and try for a counter, but was a little bit late to do so. So well timed by Bayard. There it is, though. More consistent pressure from Dylan doesn't let it up. Manages to catch Bayard jumping and surprised. Double double, we're at La Belle. "23 seconds, golden touch." And we're going to non-combativity. Priority goes left. Dylan. Oh, there it is. Oh, and Bayard falls over. Dylan, pick him up, man. Come on. Victoire de Dylan French contre Alex Bayard. Yeah, so that was Dylan's adjustment from the tail end of the last period, where instead of pulling, he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Bayard fleshed into that instead of pushing himself, because the pressure got to, he was expecting the pressure release and it never came. They showing Antiques Roadshow. What is on TV now? Shiny though. All right, what's up next? Butticino Castelli. Castelli. Good enough. All right, Butticino pushing, Butticino pushing. Contrast to most of the other fences we've seen today, Castelli is very grounded. Deep knee bends, smaller motions, keeping himself in a better on guard as he goes through, but a little bit less mobile because of it. So he's going to do Well, hopefully I was going to say find the blade, but I guess not. And a good parry from Butticino and then the riposte. Oh. Oh. All right. High low there from Butticino. Castelli holding his ground, holding his ground. Butticino a little bit undercommitted, let's say, on the attack there. Castelli deals with it, but he's set so he can get the easy flush in. Probably see a lot of that kind of counter flush or parry flush. One of my sad moments is that I've spent one of my favorite kinds of touches is counter flush, which is a flush into prep. And they're so cool and they're so sick. And I put a whole compendium out there of counter flush touches I really liked, and then nobody watched it or ever really talked about it. But I liked it. It was a lot of fun to make. They're very fun touches. Still, he a bit too eager there. Got the parry, went 1-2, but his second, Pucciccino had already recovered and was able to deal with it and go up 1. Ooh, that was good though. Castelli being very brick wally here. Where we see the Italians do this kind of a. You could totally counter flush into prep as a foilist. It would actually work really well because you flesh, you back flick, you run past them. They're totally surprised, they have no chance to get a light on. I think it worked great. You cannot counter flush as a saberist, of course, because you can't flush. No matter what the FIU keeps trying to do, you cannot flush in saber. Anyway, ooh, wow. Insane flick. Anyway, Castelli is trying to do something very similar to what the Italians like to do, but it's has a very Hungarian twist to it, where the Italians will do small parries but bigger tip movement for more leverage on the blade, and then try to finish with a flick. Castelli is keeping everything very in line. And so you go in and he's right in line and he goes straight when he flushes like that touch or he counters like the touch before. Oh, I believe in you. I think you could do it. You've got the long arms too, so it'd be good. Yes. My reel isn't retracting. It's a classic problem. See, that flick is just not something Castelli will do. He'll just go straight for it. Oh, go slow. Well done. Dangerous. Unset up. The action, he prepped. He aborted his last action, which was really dangerous. And then everything reset. And Butticino was ready. And you could tell he thought he had the opening and it wasn't there. So as a touch Butticino, would turned out to be an unset up action, even though it was kind of almost at the end of a sequence, but just a little bit too much time in between. Yep, straight again from Castelli. Very, very close distance. I guess this is the new this is the new normal, but it still blows my mind. So nothing. Clutch, 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 clutch. Touch. I don't know. I guess he got caught with a flick or something on the back. That was a predictive flush because he thought the opening might be there and it wasn't, so he got hit. I like to see a little bit more patience. I think even against Busticino at this close, there is that fine moment where you can see the opening and hit it and not just hope it's there. Like that. I think. Let's assume yes, so I sound cool. All right, 7-5, 40 seconds left in the second. Busticino completely covered in sweat. Oh, we have chat starting to show. Okay, interesting. So chat's actually like way below this screen. Um, okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Making progress, making progress. Making less progress. Just get rid of that. Okay. Well, it's unreadable, I think, but it's there. It's pretty good on its own. All right, back to the match. This is a really interesting contrast in styles where Butticino will be going very up and down and Zambor will be going very forward and backwards. I think Butticino's first name is Giacomo. Good from Castelli to clear the line and not try to do too much. Things are starting soon. Bird flesh, nothing done. Good hold again. Good hold again from Caselli. Now we're going to start seeing things, I think, because it's been a couple of good holds where Butticino just hasn't gotten anywhere, but he's feeling safe because he hasn't seen any counters or posts. And I think that's what he's going to overcommit to something soon, and that's when Caselli is going to hit him. Oh, on combativity. Might have reset everything. Yeah, Butticino took that opportunity to reset. Now he's a lot less aggressive. Content for small actions, and Caselli got tired of waiting and flushed into it. Some kind of a presentation. All I care about is fencing. Ooh, just straight up got parried, got the touch anyway. Lucky, lucky. 17 seconds left. He's still rushing too much for 17 seconds left, but and now he's not in his game anymore. Caselli's trying to match Butticino. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Good variant on close game from Caselli, worth watching. Um this is really distracting, so we're just gonna watch this. Better, better, better. Really confusing trying to deal with all of this. Nope, way too big. Get them beer to the finals. Oh, close one against Kurbanov. Close one against Loyola. And everything else is kind of a slaughter. All right, here we go. We're 10 seconds late, but it's fine. We had a blade swap. All right. Bard finds the blade. Bard goes through the blade. Bard flushes. Bard hits. Oh boy, is he loving his flush today? that didn't do anything. Better, better, better. Okay, let's watch this. Let's go. Bard much more active with the distance here. Bia trying a high, low, high, forward kind of an action that doesn't really work very well for him. Double there, which we kind of missed because of the video. Everybody wants to straighten their blade. Another double. I'm so tired. Ooh, I thought Bia had that one. He's so close there. Just can't quite finish the action. But good thinking. I have to, we got a lot of time to go. Bard giving up a lot of ground. Bard going long, long lunge. A little bit surprising for Bia. Catches him jumping backwards. Interesting kind of high pressure game from Bardenet, where he's not in Bia's face, but he is constantly throwing attacks at him. And so Bia can't really set anything up. And Bia can't really find his feet or find the distance because it's such a jerky kind of attack. Because such a jerky kind of about, there's no flow to it. Bardenet just running in at him. And it's a double, and it's a double, and it's a double, and it's not like great theoretical fencing. It's kind of working though. Really, Gaetan needs to break the distance here. Or hit a great counter. You can also hit a great counter, so it's a good option. If you can do it, you should do it. But if you can't do it, you end up getting a lot of doubles, and then all of a sudden your bout's over in their first round, and you feel bad. Another really good counter. Okay, chat transparency. That's good. 8-11, but we're only in the first. Burn is going to go in about now. I'm really proud to call that. I felt really cool. All right. Yeah, this is just, it's such a, normally you don't think of high pressure like this, but he is totally out of it mentally, and Bardenay just keeps hitting him before he can get settled. And so B is just completely twisted. This happens in Saber much more frequently because every touch is this fast. But it's really cool to see Bardenay doing it in Epee. If you get caught like this, that's the time to use one of the slow down the bout tricks. Walk back to the end of the strip. This bout's over in the first period, and it's not even that big a bout. It's not even that active a bout. Just Bardenay, flesh. Bardenay, flesh. Bardenay, flesh. Anyway, walk back, tie your shoe. Good counter there. And it's over with another flesh. That was insane. Congratulations to Alexander Bardenay. First win in several years. Yeah, that was a thing. That bout was crazy. Who needs anything? Find one action. Hammer at it until your opponent cracks, and then you win. And that's all there is to fencing. Easy game. Simple game. Easy game. All right, that was faster than I expected. Thank you all for watching. I didn't even fucking check. I never changed the stream title. Oh well. Too many flushes. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. Have a nice day.